Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. My name is Randy.
And I'm OG37 Doug. Just kidding. 7-3. I got you.
And I learn convenient stuff from the news all the time. Ken.
Oh my God.
So good. You just turn it on and all of the relevant info that you need right then and there is on right then and there. It's great.
Love it.
We are the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in Dragon Ball Cosmos. Doug, you have to tell me, what's going on? What's new?
Oh my God, dude. I'm so happy. Fantastic things happened today, man. I finally got my TV wall mounted. My 98-inch, super huge, too big for my small new apartment TV. Go! But it is finally hung up on the wall, looking perfect. I didn't think, I'm going to try and show the camera for the visual. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, it fits so nicely. Oh, hey. It's so good. It's been on the floor for the past 2 weeks. I had to get when they came to deliver it, apparently my wall doesn't have wood studs. It has metal studs. So the wall mount I had didn't work for it. So I had to wait. I had to reschedule, which of course takes them 2 weeks to do it. I'm like, God dang it, I could do this myself, but I want a professional to do it just right. So had to wait. But all things, dinner is best served cold, as I like to say. And I waited and it's done professionally and done. It's beautiful. I'm happy. But yeah.
That's good.
And next thing up is now to like behind me looks horrible, but everything else in this direction looks great. Trust me. But the next part of me in this new place is fixing up behind me. So these two boxes back here are bookcases. So watch out for that. I have ideas.
Ooh.
Yeah, to assemble them. Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, that's the.
Oh, okay.
But they're gonna look nice. They're gonna look.
What else does one do with those? That's fun. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you're on the path to figuring some stuff out.
Because all these are SH figure arts. All these boxes are SH figure arts, so I need to finally display them.
Yeah, do something. Don't let what happened last time happen again. You got to put up some shelving.
I'm already at max capacity again. I didn't know. I went from one bedroom and now to a one actual apartment, and still there's nowhere. But I'll make do. You know me. I'll find space. Yeah.
Yeah. I believe in you. Ken, now you have to tell me what's new with you.
Nothing's ever new with me, but I did pick up the Dr. Mashirito's Ultimate Manga Techniques, since Doug also has it. Yeah, we're busting it out.
I will have forgotten mine by the time this comes out. Because
Rainy, hold up your pre-order slip. Yeah.
Yeah. That print
your tracking number.
The inside of this book is not what I was expecting at all. I mean, it's just like, I was expecting prose, like just a bunch of words laid out in word fashion, as you do.
As words want to do.
Like the Araki from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, his manga book is just like that. I mean, that's kind of like boring and tame. So that this one from Torishima being kind of cool and stuff's popping all over the pages is really nice. I like it a lot.
I haven't flipped through it yet, honestly, but dang, the cover looks so good and the material is so nice.
Yeah. Kanzenshu just did a podcast with the translator from the book, David Evelyn. Highly recommend checking that out. It's a very, very good interview. If you're into translation stuff, and even if you're not, it's also still just a great podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, yeah, cool, that book exists, whatever. Big deal, just another thing. And then I listened to that episode of the Kanzenshu podcast, and then the last 5 minutes, I'm like, let me just go buy it real quick. All right, it'll be here on Wednesday.
It's $30 on Amazon right now, so yeah, and it just came out, so this is your chance to get it.
Yeah.
Show Viz that we want more of this stuff. Is this Viz? Yeah, show Viz that we want by buying, supporting it.
Where are the Chosenshu, man? Just give me those already. In the final days before the Switch 2 coming out, I'm going back. I was trying to find a scratch, trying to scratch my itch, and I finally found the right game. And I'm going back and I'm playing Earthbound, baby. That's right. We're going back. I have the original player's guide from when it was on Super Nintendo, because I still have my Super Nintendo version, and then it still has the scratch and sniff cards in it as well.
What?
I'm actually already halfway through the game. I've just been blowing through it. The game's super charming. But after that, I think in the final days before Mario Kart World, I think I will pick Chrono Trigger back up on Nintendo DS, and I think I will finally beat it. I think I'm halfway through the game too here. So yeah, I was playing. Funny story. I was playing this, and then I got the Switch 1 and never touched my 3DS again.
Oh. Dude, I never beat Chrono Trigger either, but just playing halfway through, fell in love with it's such an endearing story with characters that are, of course, reminiscent of Toriyama. So it was lovely. I need to get back into it and beat it myself.
I've also was late to the party in finally beating Chrono Trigger. It wasn't until summer 2023 that I finally
recently
rolled credits on it. And I know that there's a whole bunch of other endings that I can go through and experience a bunch of stuff, but I was like, I got to move on. But that was fun. I liked it. It was very, very good. What's new with me? So, talk of the gaming town of the last couple of weeks has been this game, Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
And I was like, all right, this sounds like it'd be supremely my jam, and I'll check it out. I'll get it. We'll see how it goes. And, everybody, it's so much hype around this thing. And I'm here to tell you it's 100% rated. Like, not overrated. It's rated.
Really? Dude, I think I want to get that
good.
too. Like, I've heard nothing but good things, but also I've heard nothing about what kind of game it is. So I kind of want to buy it and just go in blind and see, because everyone says it's great.
I mean, it's very, very good. I was going to say what it is, but now I don't want to spoil Doug,
Yeah, please don't. Yeah.
Okay, well, it is a
now
video
that my
game.
TV's set up and I can see the bottom of the UI, I want to actually play games now.
You don't know anything about it, Doug? Like,
The
bear...
genre?
No.
You don't... Okay, maybe you should look at just a little bit before you go jumping into this one.
I've seen it's not open world, but
Nope.
It's like Nier Automata.
Nope.
Okay, then I know nothing about it.
Well, then earmuffs for Doug, but it is in the vein of old school turn-based RPGs, but it's from France and timed hits and everything for special moves and things. So you'll be like, oh, I want to use this move. And they'll be like, all right, cool. Here's a quick little QTE thing that you got to hit for these to get off more criticals and all these other things. And it's so dang good and
I'm intrigued.
Satisfying. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to speak of ignorance here. So know that I know that going in. But this seems like an RPG for people who don't like RPGs.
Maybe. I love RPGs, and I'm gobbling this thing up. I love it so much. So,
and also, I'm a little bit peeved because the whole timed hit thing was brought back by the Yakuza games recently. 7 and 8 both feature that kind of stuff. So let's. There's only 10 or 11 games in that canon you have to play to finally be able to play those RPGs. So get to it.
Well, this one you can just jump right in. It's very cool, very melancholy atmosphere, because the whole thing is 100 years ago, stuff happened, and now every year, people who are at a certain age, they all die. And Expedition 33 is at the end of this year, everybody who's 33 years old dies. And the next year after that, everyone who's 32 dies. So
whoa,
we've got to go keep doing this thing to figure out how to stop this from happening. So it's been going on for 67 years. So
cool.
Yeah.
So 33 plus 67 is 100. Is that part of the mystery?
It's not part of the mystery. It's up front.
Oh. But I heard the story is good and satisfying, so that's hopeful. Because
main character,
more than I can say for a special manga that we just read.
Main character voiced by Charlie Cox. That's right, Daredevil himself. Anyway, and the other last thing is I watched this movie called Hardware Wars, and it's not really a movie. It's an 11-minute short film from 1978, which is the first parody of Star Wars by a bunch of people who just had to go see it in theaters 20 times. And then it's low budget and hilarious and super good, but it got a Blu-ray release recently. It's good. It's funny.
I thought it was an HGTV, you were telling us about a Hardware Wars.
No. When I was in elementary school, I was in a play that was a parody of Star Wars, and I played the equivalent of Obi-Wan.
Oh.
Ooh.
So I should check this out. But I will tell you, I really hate Spaceballs with every fiber of my being.
What?
So if this is anything like that, then
it's not up your alley.
It's not going to be. Yeah.
Dude, I watched, before watching Star Wars, the movies, the original 3, I think I watched Family Guy do a parody. The Family Guy did an episode special of it. But it was so weird because I'm watching the real Star Wars. I'm they didn't really do a parody. It's kind of almost shot for shot with a little bit of jokes in it. Really. So it was really weird. Kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. If you've not seen Star Wars, don't start watching those episodes of Family Guy first. Not the way to do it.
20 years ago when it came out, but it was really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, because of how similar it was really weird.
It just ruined it for you. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to ruin any of this for you, Doug, because we are doing Dragon Ball Super manga review, Doug edition, Granolah the Survivor arc part 2, because that's right, Doug has never touched this stuff, never read it.
Not at all.
He's heard rumors, he's heard tell of this old Granolah man. And
I didn't know who was referencing until reading this. I'm like, oh, that's the Granolah? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So now you know. Well, you're learning. So, like I said, we're finally getting through this arc of the Dragon Ball Super manga, which was, a monthly manga that started in 2015 before/alongside the Dragon Ball Super anime TV series being done by Toyotaro and Toriyama. And it's been keeping going ever since the Dragon Ball Super anime ended. I mean, there's been a break for like a little over a year, but we've all got our fingers crossed that there's going to be more coming. But we're reviewing this. So, Ken, we're on basically like the first proper volume of this whole thing.
Yeah.
But can you catch us up? Like what's been going on before this one right here?
Last time on Dragon Ball Super, though peace has returned to Earth following Moro's defeat, the recapture of 7-3's body spells trouble for the universe at large. Enter Granolah, the last surviving member of the Cerealian race, a species once known for their keen eyes and laser precision. Though otherwise a mild-mannered mercenary, learning that Frieza, the instrument of his people's incineration, has returned to life leaves him with only one goal, revenge. As Goku and Vegeta continue their divine development, what threat builds in the far reaches of space?
Ooh, there's a lot of stuff going on. I like that. And that was a very good recap, Ken. Always well written, well voiced, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It was caught in that like lower register and I had to
right
get it out.
Reboot.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, big picture temperature check.
Temperature check.
It's Thursday energy, guys. Let's go.
Yeah. Volume 16, chapters 69 to 72. What did you think, Doug? This is your first time jumping in?
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt.
After reading these 4 chapters, I don't know. I think I've lost interest in the story already. I'm just like,
cool.
Yeah. If it wasn't for things that are obviously known about, because I'm reading this whatever, how many years this came out originally, I'm like, okay, I kind of see where this is going. And only thing that can redeem it is if I see a time traveling old Saiyan from our heroes past that come back for whatever reason. So I don't know. Because right now the story's a little too predictable with just another character with a grudge against the Saiyans. So here we go again.
So 2 things, Doug. I told you this was going to happen, and you'll like this by the time we're done here today.
Okay. I'm open ears. I'm always open-minded.
Yeah, and Ken has a streak of changing people's minds into liking things
Doug's
that he likes. Specifically Doug. Ken's got the secrets to doing all that. Ken, what do you think about this volume?
Loved it. There's the one glaring problem, which we'll talk about later, and it still bugs me, and it's bugged me every time. But other than that, I really do love this. I still feel the same way I felt last time, is that this is such a 180 versus what what Daima was like, in terms of like respecting the world that the story is being told in at
like
this current
lore-wise?
time. Not even just that like it acknowledges what comes before, and it's very clearly setting up for something else to come based on like words from these characters. And in Daima, it was like a coin flip about if anything was gonna, if what a character said meant a damn or not. So
yeah,
it's just really good, really rich. It feels like, we'll get into it, but it's just definitely Toriyama and Toyotaro again, who's who in this equation. But looking at some of the more convoluted stuff that has come before and saying like, let's really dive into this and explore it. And I like that. Randy?
I thought this volume was okay. The problem is at the end, for me, when I think back, like, what is the Granolah arc? There's just a few things in my brain that I remember. And at the end of this, we're like, all right, we're doing this fight of Goku and Vegeta and Girl. And I'm like, oh, I feel like this was the whole thing. Like, and this is just going to go on for 2.5 volumes.
It's like the only part of the story that I'm like, okay, I'm here for this. Like, I don't want to come to Dragon Ball for fights, but sometimes it really does a good job of it. So I'm like, okay, as long as we got to this point, this is kind of worth it.
I will say that at the time, this was the worst part, was waiting to get to them going to Planet Cereal. Because remember, Doug, 1 month per chapter. And so it was like 4 or 5, 6 months or whatever before they even meet Granolah.
Yeah, I have to take that into account too, how I'm just breezing through these when you guys have to wait so long.
Yeah, it's a different experience. And I'm liking this, although I wish this volume didn't end at this point. Like I kind of wanted just to read more, just to be like, all right, just so I could feel some satisfaction from it. Because at the end, I was just kind of like,
there's
all right,
no meaningful revelation to who Granolah is, that Vegeta's like, oh, this must be, and then it cuts the volume. Like, is he just going to repeat, like, he's someone that the Saiyans destroyed their planet of? Like, okay, we knew that already. Like, well, if it's that.
We've done that hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Have we?
I mean, I'm just saying,
Saiyans have.
the Saiyans have destroyed a lot of people's lives. Be like,
yeah,
oh, this is one of those.
This guy has a right eye. Oh my god, it's those people.
I'm gonna sway hearts, guys. Let's just.
I'm excited.
I'm ready, baby.
Okay,
talk to me, baby.
Alrighty. Well, then let's do chapter 69. Nice. The succession of Planet Cereal. This chapter I liked. At least the second half-ish stuff, or anything with Granolah. I just always like when a new character comes in and we just kind of get to, go with them in their lives and see how things are going. Vegeta and Goku, I love them, but like, I know that song and dance. We've done that thousands of times at this point.
Which is the problem, right? Now Vegeta and Goku are just a song and dance that we have to kind of get through, which kind of feels so weird in a Dragon Ball story. I'm like, why are we still with these characters and if we kind of don't care about them? They're just here to see them, watch them train. But no, I do agree with you about Granolah seeing. It was such a nice slow of pace of like seeing him talk to the Shugarians and just like how like, oh, he's a casual. He's not like a bad guy. He's just like a dude, a mercenary who's just like doing his thing and taking care of some old guy.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
You go. You guys go ahead before I jump in and tell you guys why you're being wrong about stuff.
Them sugar people, that's great. It's just more showing of Granolah who he is, of just like, hey, this used to be your planet, and now those people moved in after, the Saiyans and Frieza took it over. You're not mad at them? Like, no, it's not their fault. They had to come, they bought a place, and this is just where they live. I'm not upset.
But this is also why I hate his characters. Like, why don't you live with us? He's like, no, it's not my style. I'm like, why? You're doing this yourself. You're just holding a grudge and just they welcome you with open arms. There's no reason why you can't live with these people and just move on with your life.
I'm constantly at combat with that because like it's fine. He's young. He's just doing this because like, no, he's not young. He's 50 years old.
He's 50. Well, in Alien, that doesn't really matter to me. Because Alien lifespans doesn't
Pansy
matter.
was 82.
Right.
And acted like she was 3.
But I'm hoping Ken can redeem this whole like Vegeta and Beerus training segment like that. I'm like not agreeing with in a sense because Beerus is saying like you got to forget your Saiyan past and you're carrying all this guilt. So you got to forget that and just creation comes from destruction and whatnot.
Let's just get into it. Okay. So Granolah returns to Cereal, right? And visits the Shugarians, designed by Toriyama.
Of course, they're just basic little circle aliens,
round.
the most basic.
They ask about Monaito, and even though Granolah is being an edgelord, right? Character's journey has to start somewhere. Okay. Mm-hmm. He can't just be this perfect character we like right from the start. He's got to grow. Okay. So this is where we're at. He's being an edgelord living on the edge, right?
For literally 40 years.
And Monaito is 500 years old. Okay. They just tell us. They just tell us. There's no guessing game.
Thousands of years.
Did I tell you my mind was like going through it when they revealed that it was a Namekian and it looked just like the Namekian from Daima. I'm like, wait, what?
Hold on, Doug. What was the character in Daima's name?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Jumped in my head. I'm like, wait,
exactly.
It's just the same guy. I don't think it was Monaito though. It's like this.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay. But he said, Namekians have long lifespans, so it's all Piccolo was like 260-ish years old or whatever. Old Piccolo was.
Daimao. Mm-hmm.
And so you can just kind of like gauge it like, okay, well, there was some guy older and this guy clearly looks old. So just, it's contained. And it's not just randomly, is he millions of years old? Is he 10,000 years old? Whatever.
Oh, you're Katatsu's son.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Monaito doesn't know Katat, so I think we're safe. The Sugarian city was set up by the Heatas, okay? And we kind of get into that here a little bit. And the planet was once those of the Cerealians 40 years ago. Okay. Timeline stuff, okay? I had to check the Japanese on this because he says 40 long years ago. And I'm like, okay, well, is he saying something like over 40 years ago? Like, let me check the Japanese. It's nothing special. It's just 40 years ago.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say Tournament of Power 780. Let's say Moro is 781, and Broly happens like in the middle there. So let's just say if this 782, just for purposes of this. So 40 years ago would be 742.
Which is?
Planet Vegeta in like previous lore blew up in 737. And then that's kind of been remapped to like 734, depending on like Jocko's timeline and everything. And then Broly is like its own separate thing about the timeline. But Granola's numbers could be kind of just rounding up. So maybe not exactly 40 years, but that's just kind of where he's at.
Okay.
But then he also later will say about 50 years. So maybe there was a time gap in between the planet being destroyed and then like the Heatas coming in or whatever.
Or maybe planetary destruction takes a long time.
The Heatas rebuilt after Frieza's army ravaged the planet and then sold it to the Sugarians, who would also happen to lose their planet. So now let's go back to the original manga. What was Frieza's whole thing?
Clearing out planets so that he could sell it.
So that he could resell it. So now we get to see into that business.
Yeah.
And see that the Heatas, maybe not the sole renovator for Frieza, but they're one of them.
They're real estate agents.
And so we actually get to go into Frieza's, not just like his army, but his general like wider business, which is so cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Granolah prefers to live in the mountains because he's like, is these people's planet, whatever. Vegeta, so now we go back to the training, okay? And this is where I'm going to be like, okay, why don't you like this? Vegeta's like romanticizing the Saiyans and their plight and making it like this whole karmic destiny for them. And Beerus is like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, get off your high horse, man, and come back to where we're at. So, like, Doug, how do you feel about that with Vegeta being like, oh, the Saiyans they're destined for this?
It was weird because at first it was like he's saying he doesn't, like he's trying to like not put blame on himself a little bit. Like, you know, it's not, that's just who we were. That's just who the Saiyans were. It wasn't like anything we could really control or anything like that. So it was just destiny that we needed to be killed off because we were a menace. We were a virus to the world or something. I don't know.
I think this is more of like a direct extension of where Vegeta was in the Moro arc. Where, remember, he was apologizing for the stuff he did on Namek and he's trying to like atone for himself. More of a self-realization of who he is and who his people were. But then he's kind of like becoming obnoxious about it.
Maybe, yeah, because he was like saying like, we're washing away our sin, or not washing away, we're just talking about sins. And then Beerus is like, sins? Like, I really noticed like that. I was like, what do you mean sins?
Yeah.
Own it or something like that.
Well, he's saying you're feeling guilty for the sins of all Saiyans. It's awfully self-centered of you. Like,
self-centered,
get over yourself, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is where Beerus just kind of casually reveals that he is the one who ordered Frieza to destroy Planet Vegeta.
Yeah.
Which was always something that people were like, oh, dude, what is Vegeta going to do when he finds out? And we get to see that here.
Yeah. Which is kind of conflicting because Vegeta's anger, shouldn't it be like, what? And then like, I don't know. It just felt off to me how he reacted. Actually, I don't know how I wanted him to react, but that was weird.
I think it's a gut reaction.
Because if he was saying that no, the Saiyans needed to die, then why is he angry? It's like, man, I feel like he would have been like, I guess that's destiny.
Well, I think maybe it was also Beerus trying to show Vegeta like, this is what you're saying, but when I tell you this, here's what you're gonna do, right? And it's still like a gut reaction type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I could be reading into it, but that is how I read it.
But how do we feel about? I know it was revealed already. I keep forgetting because of manga and anime and movie, like that it was revealed that Beerus is the one that said to Frieza to destroy the Saiyans. Like, when was that established in the manga?
Well, it was Battle of Gods.
So it was Battle of Gods, and that was like official. And then, but he just never told Vegeta. It was just like a conversation between Whis and Beerus. Yeah,
Beerus wakes up from his nap, and then I believe he's kind of talking to Whis about the state of the universe.
That's right.
And he's like, hey, did that Frieza ever get around to destroying Planet Vegeta?
But do we just all accept that now? Like, I mean, not as like truth, but it's just like that kind of sucks. Like in the retrospect, like it was cooler when it was Frieza that just decided to do it on his own.
I mean, yeah, it's one of Beerus's like 2 major retcons is doing that, and then also the Elder Kaioshin.
We've accepted and moved on from that. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, you gotta.
We were waiting for so long for it to be a plot point in the anime, and then it never happened, and I think people just forgot about it.
I think because me being so far removed from like staying up with the manga and all this stuff, and like just seeing the movies of Super, and just like, oh yeah, was this ever like really a thing? Was this really ever established? So they're seeing this here was like, wait, is this a reveal? It's like, oh, kind of to Vegeta it is.
This feels like such an important thing that for it to be relegated to like a V-Jump side manga is like, oh, this is like a real quote unquote canon event here. Vegeta finding out about this, that it's weird that it's only here. And also it's like, why we just need to continue get the stuff animated so that it can be more solidified and that kind of thing. It's nice having it addressed. Beerus uses destruction, and then Goku addresses the fact that he did use it before. Again, Doug, we talked about this briefly, but you probably forgot. Goku in the manga uses it against Zamasu.
Okay.
And it's like incomplete.
I remember hearing about that.
He's not able to fully destroy all these names, Zamasu. And so Zamasu just like quick regens after that.
Okay.
So Beerus is kind of now gone from steal something while I show you things to straight up like, I'm going to teach you something, you petulant child.
Yeah.
And so he's talking to Vegeta, and he says, my mind's always on destruction and nothing else. That's why there's no limit to my power. You're going to have to destroy any stray thoughts and recreate for yourself from scratch. Before creation comes destruction. And that is how it is in Japanese. That's not like some flair in the translation. It is literally that phrase. I really like, what Beerus is getting at here with Vegeta is that Vegeta is so caught up in himself and so caught up with what he's doing that he can't focus. And not being able to focus is why he's not getting any stronger.
Oh.
And we have a fun parallel here where Granolah is so stuck in the past of like things that have happened before and can't move past it. And here we have Vegeta who struggles with the same thing, but from the other side of the coin.
Yeah. It's poetry, Doug. It rhymes.
Because it rhymes? All right.
Yeah. So the Heatas, we're back with them, now Elec and the gang, and they're going through 7-3's memories, and so they're seeing Sagambo and his gang like shaking down Zuno, and we see Moro again, and we see Marisu from 7-3's perspective. Just like a world, with Daima, we were always worried about, is the last episode, is it canon to this one, right? And this show, this manga is respecting the whole story and the world that it's in. And so that's why it's so refreshing to me.
Yeah.
To be in this kind of situation.
I guess. I'm just not a fan of how they do it. It's just like, here's a TV screen. Here's you get to see in 4K what happened previously.
Well, but this was always the plan. They told us this is what they were going to do, is explore 7-3 for his intel.
Yeah.
And then through this is how we answers our question from last week. This is how they find out about the Dragon Balls. And then Elec incorrectly puts it together that the Dragon Balls must have been used to wish back Frieza. We kind of glossed over / forgot about it last week when we were discussing this, but Whis is actually the reason why Frieza's alive, not the Dragon Balls.
They did use Dragon Balls to bring Frieza back.
The first time.
But then he got he got not good again.
But it's such a jump of like logic for this random character who just found out about Dragon Balls to be like, hey, it must be that. I mean, like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like, it's, I don't know.
I mean, how else does somebody come back from the dead? Like, that's not a thing that happens.
Yeah, they talk through it a little bit. And again, Elec is still wrong here about what he's assuming. So I think it's okay.
Sure, yeah, I'm not too mad about it.
He's right. Frieza was brought back by the Dragon Balls. They just didn't know that Frieza died again and then got brought back again by other things.
Yeah. So now we jump back over to Granolah getting home, and we meet Monaito for the first time here. And Monaito has his own Dragon Balls. There's only 2 of them, and they don't know where that second one's at.
Until the TV tells them.
If only, yeah.
So we flash to Namek here, where Mori is talking to Eska and some others there. I guess Namekian class or whatever
like a
this
school.
would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dragon Clan school, yeah. And he's explaining that the Namekians migrated from another realm.
Yes. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, wait, what's happening?
To all sorts of planets, and may have all sorts of sets of Dragon Balls, but he doesn't know how many Namekians might be left. So we talked, when we did Toyotaro's AF, Doug, we talked about how the Namekians came from another realm, because we knew that from this part, and I was hoping at that time, in this pre-Daima era, that it would have been like from the Dragon Realm or something, and they would have so much more mystical connection given all their abilities and everything. Of course, now we know that Toriyama at this point was probably already kind of envisioning more stuff about the Demon Realm, and even though Super and Daima are wholly incompatible, that doesn't mean that Toriyama's ideas aren't. And so while he was, if the Demon Realm is something that existed in Toriyama's mind as a part of this story, whether or not he put it to page, it existed here as well. So most likely here, Toriyama was already thinking the Namekians were from the Demon Realm.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Still think Dragon Realm would have been cooler.
Oh, of course you did, yeah.
Yeah. There used to be a lot more Namekians on Serial. And again, this does really kind of add up with what we learned in episode 10 of Daima, with the great escape of everyone from the Demon Realm, migrating to different planets.
That's bringing stuff from Daima, which is so many years after this, to bring to here. That's so cool. I can't believe you guys didn't you must have been bugging out about it, but just didn't mention it because I didn't read Granolah or whatever, but the connections there.
I want to say we did mention it briefly, but you had no touch point for it. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
I forgot about it entirely. So when Ken was like, this is a thing in Granolah, I'm like, oh, sure.
Well, even just the fact of an old Namekian dude just living on his own. I was like, what? So similar.
Granolah wants to return the planet to the way it was 50 years ago. Again, let's just, for the purposes of this, say 782 minus 50 would be 732, which puts us well ahead of the destruction of Planet Vegeta. Monaito wants Granolah to give up on this revenge. And dude, just stop being a punk and just chill out and enjoy your life, man. You're only a quarter of the way there. Just chill out and don't get played by these Heatas. And he doesn't know that yet, but... So that night, Granola's watching TV.
Oh boy, here we go.
And this reminds me of that episode of Arrested Development where they're talking to the lawyer and the lawyer's like, and watch this. And he turns the TV on and it's something totally random. And then eventually some news story pops up and he's like, now imagine if I turned on the TV right when that turned on. This sucks. I think the two worst parts of this arc are this moment and then what's still yet to come that we haven't reached there yet.
Oh, man. And the fact that it's only 2 Dragon Balls is always it's also hitting me too. It's just to move the story along. They just did 2. They could have made it 7 and then just did a little quick montage. I mean, the gang has 18 days to arrive to Serial even before this. So there's time. They always stop time. So why not make it 7 or at least 4? Why 2?
Because the story's not about the search for the Dragon Balls.
It's not, but that's what I'm saying. You could just do a montage of that off screen that he got them all 7. Why change the number to 2? It's so weird when the dragon pops up and is you summon 2 Dragon Balls. Why? You wouldn't say, you're just saying 2 because for our purposes, the number 2, but a regular person would say you found the Dragon Balls, but because it's 2.
You don't got no dragon radar.
To me, this feels Toriyama. This feels like a Toriyama interjection. The 2 Dragon Balls, Toriyama being finding the Dragon Balls isn't the point. As well as the whole TV thing feels like a Toriyama gag that Toyotaro didn't execute very well.
Oh, yeah, maybe. It could have played in way better if it was a gag.
Should have done a spit take. Having his tea and then...
It's so coincidental that this is something that should have progressed the story along, get one beat to the next in a way where if we first met Granolah here, I wonder how well this would have worked. Because then if it's just chilling at home, and then he sees on the news that Dragon Ball's there, that could perpetuate the story from beginning to now. You know what I mean? But for it to be so coincidental that he's like thinking about it, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, now I have a reason to seek out power.
I mean, truthfully, I think it would be even better, if Monaito just had both the Dragon Balls.
Yes, that too. I thought that too. Yeah. If he just had them.
Granolah just takes him out and goes. Because it really, but that comes back to the point of it doesn't really matter what happened here. The point is, what matters is that he got the Dragon Balls and he makes this wish.
Right, but it's executed so badly that it just ruins it.
So Granolah summons Taronbo, who has a distinct design, different from Shenlong.
He's not just a different color?
Yeah. He's not just red Purunga. Very nice.
I mean, I guess. Slimy.
Granolah wishes, turn me into the greatest warrior in the universe, or Uchu Ichi no Senshi. So literally, he's not asking to be the strongest warrior here. He is asking to be the number one. The best warrior in the universe. And that ends chapter 69. So 70 here starts up, and we're back with, hey, we're still continuing this wish that's going on. Yeah. And Taronbo's like, okay, so hold on. Let's clarify this.
Hold on. Let's take a step back.
Yeah, let's. What do you mean? So he says, so you wish to become the most powerful life form apart from the gods themselves. So here, I decided to go in the Japanese again because the word power is coming up. Uh-huh. And he does actually use the phrase, I believe it's suyoi, or strength, strong, power. So he is literally talking about strength here at this point. But Trombo can only make Granolah the strongest warrior in the universe because that would go past his natural strength.
Right.
And so the only way to do this, is to sacrifice his future. And we'll find out, we don't know that at this point, but the point is that he sacrifices basically 150 years and will have 3 years to live after doing this. Which is cool. That's a cool little twist and kind of makes Granolah more of a tragic character.
Yeah.
Knowing that he's already traded so much away. See, I know that Granolah, Doug, to you maybe sucks, but I think his suckage is actually kind of what makes him great. And that
if it plays to that suckage, then yeah.
It's fueling him. He is digging himself in so deep that the story at some point can only be him trying to climb out of that hole.
Okay.
Because he has to have a journey. It shouldn't just be a boring story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping there's a journey and not just he gets defeated by the Saiyans. Oh my. But it is kind of weird that it's just anyone could do this wish and then just be the strongest. Or is it just because of him? If he had 150 years of power condensed into him right now, that feels really weird.
I mean, we don't need to know the exact mechanics of it. We just need to know that this is what Trombo
anyone
does.
could do that. Is just very weird.
I feel like anybody could, but would anybody take that offer to be like,
or is that enough power to be the strongest? You know what I'm saying? Even if he has 150 years, what if it's Mr. Satan that did that wish? Would he, even if he lived 150 extra years, if he got the power condensed, would he be the strongest in the universe?
I don't know.
Feels weird.
Fun thing to think about, but unimportant.
The strongest in the universe just seems so lame, and it's just I'm the strongest in the universe. It's that's what I wanted. I don't know. I'm not vibing with it.
Vegeta is still trying to learn destruction. He's still trying to blow up rocks, and Beerus is dude, you're just doing a ki blast. When matter is destroyed, it releases heaps of energy. The explosion's the real highlight of using destruction. So Beerus is okay, I will write the Chosenshu myself, Vegeta, and he's writing the technique information for destruction, and that it has a very clear, visual hallmark to it that is important in this story to indicate when characters, in fact, are using destruction.
Yeah.
And
the explosion.
Big boom, yeah. And colored very specific way in the full color.
Boy, am I glad I'm reading the full color version. Thank you guys for that.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. Because of the color coding that goes on later, with the auras and everything. Oh, that's just not in the black and white. Dang. And it's just kind of muddy to look at. Eventually, Vegeta is able to use destruction on the teensiest, tiniest little pebble and make it blow up. And everyone's oh, and he's I'm going to blow up bigger stuff now. Oh, yeah. Granola's got long hair.
He looks very Super Saiyan 3, especially with the pose. The reveal pose.
I think that's supposed to be the idea. Yeah,
the homage.
It's an homage. Me quickly cuts it though because it's just gonna get.
I'm glad. I was like, no, I don't like this. Look, I'm like, oh, he's cutting his hair. Okay, great. Like, what a sigh of like, oof.
But right away, he lifts a boulder and uses destruction on it.
Yeah.
So if you think about it this way, to be the greatest warrior in the universe means that you have to be able to use the techniques of anyone who's not as great as you are. In order to be the greatest.
Oh, is that why Goku's like later on like guessing like, does he know all our techniques or something like that?
Exactly. Doug, are you turning around? You starting to turn around? You see what the cookage was going on when you didn't know it?
Puzzle pieces are connecting, but I'm still...
I'm telling you, me making the case this volume, Doug, will I think help you set up for future volumes to be like,
yeah, maybe.
Here's how I need to think about what Toyotaro is doing here.
Yeah, that's what I love doing this podcast with you guys because you made me think about it in a different way, more open way.
It's also, Randy, I know you weren't as down as Doug on this, but you're not as high as I am. And I know for me, I read this more recently, well, definitely than Doug. And then I've read it more recently than you as well. So to me, I see the puzzle pieces when they're here in front of me and I know what's coming. And so I'm making mental notes like, oh, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast and bring this up. And when I go through and after I've read it and I'm taking my notes on it, I'm making sure to point this stuff out so we can go. And so as we go, if you're reading something, this isn't Daima. If someone says something that seems ridiculous, it's because it means something later.
It's for a purpose. Yeah.
It's just...
I will say, I didn't think about this thing of the wish of being the strongest in the universe. I figured that was like mortals. So I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, sure, he'll be stronger than Goku and Vegeta. I'm like, wait, does that mean stronger than Beerus and Whis as well?
Yeah, when he first got the long hair and everything after the wish, before we knew what the condition was, I thought the condition was like, yeah, now you're a god. I thought he was gonna be a god of destruction because he did the destruction thing. And they told us no, it's just the years thing.
We've known since the Tournament of Power that you don't have to be a god to use destructive energy. I mean, Toppo was using it.
When the dragon was like, so you want to be stronger apart from the gods? I'd be like, no, I want to be stronger along with the gods. It's like, yeah, just make me immortal strong.
Well, remember, not everyone knows about the god hierarchy in Dragon Ball. We know.
Yeah.
But the Heatas
But it's almost said that to you, oh, you'll be
necessarily.
strong, but not like the gods? Like, I'll be like, no, like the gods. Give me that power. Like, he's that tragic. But whatever. That doesn't matter.
I think he's like, my beef's not with the gods. My beef is with Frieza. So he's just, he's laser precision. He's laser focused on what he's on. It's like that red eye. Yeah. So Minato wakes up because, of course, there was the big boom and he runs after Granolah. And he's
like, in the Force.
Yeah. And he's like, oh my God, this child, what have you done now, boy? And, Minato says something interesting that is reflective of the Cell arc, I think. And he says, there's no better way to make new enemies pop out of the woodwork than by brandishing that sort of power. Which to me is kind of mirroring Goku's whole thing for why he wanted to stay dead after Cell was defeated. It's like, hey, as long as I'm around, bad guys are going to keep coming for me. And then, I mean,
I don't know. It makes less sense here. It's like Frieza is the big bad guy. Like, killing him, I think everyone is agreeing that that's a good thing.
Right. But I think even Whis has hinted at it. It's like, we don't really know what's out there in this universe. Yeah. But I don't know exactly when I wanted to touch on this, but it kind of seems like because Granolah learns all this stuff from Goku and Vegeta by making this wish, that Goku and Vegeta previously were the strongest in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's it. They did totally top out in Universe 7. I mean, of course, Broly's out there.
And because of that, the parallel is because of that, because of how strong Goku and Vegeta are, now there's this Granolah who's as strong as that. Like if they just stopped training, not they ever would, but I'm saying if they did, then Granolah would never be this strong either.
To me, it's an interesting way to overcome the power creep by just having a character literally wish to be stronger than the other ones. Like it's
kind of a cheat, but
it is, but it's inventive because you have already done this. You've already told a story where they find a new strong guy. You don't have to do that again. It's just the guy says, I'm strong.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, in continuation from Moro, then that is.
And you don't have to find an explanation of like, this guy is secretly 50 million years old and he knew all these things and he experienced this. It's like,
I mean, but I thought they wrote themselves out of a corner by like opening up the space and the universe. Like there could be aliens because the universe is so big that there could be this dude chilling out there somewhere.
Right. I think a lot of that was Whis just trying to excite Goku and Vegeta, but maybe he didn't know either, right? Maybe he didn't know that Goku and Vegeta have topped out. But it's clear to me from this that they have. They're at the top for now. I mean, of course, now it's Granolah. Now, what's interesting to me is you have to think about when you make that kind of wish, that's not a forever wish. You're not always the strongest. You're the strongest in that moment in time.
Okay.
Just something to think about.
Which I guess how our heroes defeat the enemy.
And Goku does kind of address it here in a little bit as well as we get going, so I don't think it's too much of a stretch to start talking about that here. Monaito admonishes Granolah for being so brash, and then Whis is watching Granolah cut his hair and is like, oh dear, oh no, what's going on here? Granolah goes ahead and goes back to the Heatas because now he's got the power. He needs to know where Frieza is. And he just owns the crap out of Oil and Mackie. Yeah. And Gas has to intervene and cut like Granolah's, what would you call that? Scarf. Yeah, thank you. And I don't wear clothes, so I'm not really familiar with what they're called.
He doesn't. For the audio listeners, he's naked all the time.
I am so
naked. Is that
naked.
a Jocko joke?
I also pee out of my ears. Granolah admits he used the Dragon Balls to become stronger. Elec also like puts a stop to the fighting. He's like, hey guys, let's just talk. You know, and that's another thing I like about Elec is he's a talker.
He's a talker, yeah. And also he's like holding back like story-wise, showing Gas's like true power. Like something's up with Gas. Especially we find out next chapter like he's trump card.
Yeah. Granolah reveals that he sacrificed 150 years and he's only got 3 left to live. And he's like, okay, when you figure out where Frieza is, you need to tell me. And then he leaves. And then Alec's like,
stupidest idea happens. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So no, you go ahead, Doug. I'm curious. Then
Elec is like, all right, Granolah's getting really strong. We need to take him out. He's gonna take care of Frieza. No. But then he's gonna be the top dog. Yeah, for 3 years. And then you guys, Granolah's not the kind of guy that's like, I want to be the ruler of the world. And Elec should know that. And then it's like, yeah, but he might take out Frieza's army, and we want that. Who cares about Frieza's army? Yeah, sure, it's an army, but you can rebuild. But why are you killing? There's Frieza, and then there's Granolah. For you, it's like, yes, let them duke it out and kill whatever's left is fine. Why does it have to be Granolah that dies? You're still keeping Frieza. You know what I mean? And if it's Granolah that kills, which is the best option, he'll die in 3 years. The world is yours after that. The universe is yours after that. That's my spiel.
Elec is playing the safe game because he doesn't know that he can keep Granolah away from Frieza for 3 years, and he's not necessarily ready to deal with Frieza being gone. Frieza is still a source of income for the Heatas. If Frieza continues to go out and wreck planets, then they can continue to go out and renovate them and make money from selling them.
Yeah, but they can figure it out. If Frieza's gone, they can figure it out.
I don't know. They don't seem that strong to be able to do. I mean, I guess the Saiyans technically weren't either,
manipulative. But yeah, they got the know-how. They're business savvy. They can figure it out. I believe that's dumb, and they can figure it out.
Okay. All right. Well, for the record, I like it. Okay. Randy, okay, where do you settle on this? Is this dumb? Is Elec being dumb?
I didn't even think about that fact of just like, oh yeah, he'll just be dead in 3 years. Like, let him take care of Frieza and then just like wait it out. I don't know. Maybe, the Heatas, their race, they're like, we're only alive for another 4 years. So then we'd only really be in charge for like
maybe
one.
That's the only explanation.
But overall, it's fine. I'm not bothered by it. It's like, sure, yeah, he's dangerous. And like, if they also know like, oh, there's also the Saiyans out there. They're very strong. Like, well, we don't want to deal with them either. So maybe we'll do this whole thing or whatever and figure something out.
But they know about the Saiyans now too, because they read the wiki and they know all about the Dragon Ball stuff. So they know that Goku, Vegeta are not like rulers, and neither is Granolah. It's just Frieza, and you kill Frieza, and it's all you like you wanted. I don't know.
I mean, maybe Alec's idea here is that just keep Granolah away from Frieza. Eventually, Frieza is going to make a move, and then Goku and Vegeta will stop him. And then at that point, you're cleared. But you need more time to kind of plan for this.
Either way, I just like to roll with the story. I don't have a big problem with it.
So chapter 71, Randy, I'm sorry. I know you had these summaries written here, but we're just kind of going into it.
It happened last time too. It's like, oh, all right. So then this time I was like, I'll just not write these. That's okay. Ken is on his train, and who am I to step in front of that train? I want to keep it going.
Choo.
Chapter 71, we're back with the training here.
Love how this opens.
Okay, are you being sarcastic, Doug? Because I don't know.
No, it's very funny. It's very funny. You're right. For me to assume that.
So Goku is talking about how he has to transform first to use Ultra Instinct, and his body doesn't just dodge on its own. Whis says, you're equating Ultra Instinct to a transformation. And Goku says, so I got to figure out how to use Ultra Instinct in my normal form? And I'm going into the exact detail of the dialogue here because I think it's super important for what we've known prior and what's going to happen next. And then Whis says, as for the full transformation that accompanies Ultra Instinct, let's set that aside as a last resort for when a battle demands that you surpass your limits. Here's my read on it. Things got really messy in the Tournament of Power as to what Ultra Instinct was.
Yeah.
And so whether it was Toriyama or Toyotaro said, let's use this as an opportunity to really fix and explain stuff. And here's my read on what Ultra Instinct is. Ultra Instinct is, at its base form, a technique. For
like
a
Kaioken?
mortal... Perhaps, yeah. But for a mortal to use Ultra Instinct, they do have, like, in its purest form, they have to undergo some sort of transformation. So Goku's 2 levels of Ultra Instinct that we've seen him go through, his Saiyan biology is, in fact, adapting new transformations to put up with, like, to accompany this skill.
Yeah, because the cleanup has always bothered me. And I think whenever I've thought about Ultra Instinct, I'm like, well, I always liked the sign version, Omen, whatever, where it's black hair and just silver eyes. Because I'm like, yes, Doug, that one. Thinking like, okay, the silver eyes is just kind of an indicator to us, the audience, that a thing has happened. And it's like, it was cool because it was just him learning how to use his body rather than his mind for fighting. And then when we added the transformation, I'm like, oh, well, now it's just Super Saiyan, but it's not tied to his Saiyan biology. So like, whatever. Of course, we have to do it for merchandising reasons. So I just never really liked the whole, well, now he transforms into something. Like, no, he's just better. So now this is like, okay, we just got to try to clean it up. And I respect that. I still just don't like this whole silver hair situation, but yeah.
Well, it's also messy because of what happened with Moro as well. And when Moro took Marisu's power, then he got all like the white fur and the white on his face and everything. So he himself had to undergo some sort of transformation in order to wield Ultra Instinct. And then, of course, things went south for him because he hadn't like trained himself to be able to manage that power. And so Goku's a different story. Goku has these 2 levels of transformation to deal with it. And Whis is saying like, you got to not use those. And you got to learn how to do this in your base form because you have a stamina drain when you transform.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug, how you feeling? Did you lock onto this in your first read?
Maybe it's the whole confusing. Ultra Instinct's still very confusing to me, but I like that they're cleaning it. They're trying to clean it up, and I like the whole let's try and do it on your base form, kind of reminiscent of the Cell games when Goku tried just making Super Saiyan his base form so that no energy is drained from that. So that's kind of cool. Which like got me excited because then that meant like, oh, he can use his other forms and be an Ultra Instinct or whatever. Like that'd be really cool to see, which gets a payoff next chapter.
Was it when they were training for the Universe 6 arc that Vegeta said something along the lines of to Goku, like, you and I can only get so much stronger, right? Like, we're getting diminishing returns as they get older. I think that's where it happens. I'm not sure exactly, but I do know at some point someone says something along those lines.
I feel like they say that every saga now, every arc.
But what's nice here is that they're not training.
I've never felt something so strong before. That's Piccolo in the background. I've never felt this power.
They're not training necessarily to get stronger. Here, they're training techniques.
Yeah, which is really cool. I do like this aspect.
Are you at least 5% more positive on this volume now?
Not from that, but from previous stuff, yeah.
Okay, all right. Oil and Maki set off for Earth to go find Goku and Vegeta because based on 7-3 stuff, they know that's where they should be. But they're going to go stop at Zuno first and get some intel. We never actually find out what that additional intel is that they went looking for, but we'll get to that later. Elec tells Gas that, hey, you're the only member of this family who can surpass Frieza himself. So maybe that's awesome. Why he wants to he wants to leave Granolah alone because he's going to use Gas to try to beat Frieza.
Yeah.
And so I don't want Granolah jumping in here. We're going to do this ourselves. And then maybe that idea, Doug, is that maybe if it's Elec's crew who takes Frieza out, it's going to be easier for them to kind of jump in and to overtake the whole organization.
Take over the army. Yeah, they're like, you guys are the new top dog. Yeah.
Or instead of trying to get Granolah to take out Frieza for them, because Granolah is a mercenary. He's a contractor versus having my little buddy Gas here. We're best buds. We're in this together. I'm going to get you to be that strong. Because now I know Dragon Balls can do this.
He even says family, I think, at one point. Isn't it? You're the only one of this family. So it really makes it no, we're a unit kind of thing. So if Gas takes care of him, then we took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're now a few weeks later. So this is a few weeks after the wish for Granolah to become the greatest warrior in the universe.
I really don't like story reasons where it's just a halt in the story where it's just the characters outright tell Granolah, hey, just chill for a bit. We got to figure this out. I hate, there's so many other ways in stories you can make time progress in a more natural way. This is just literally the character telling you stop. But whatever, just nitpick.
No, I agree. Because even from a timeline perspective, it's annoying. I have mapped all of this arc's timeline out. I did this a long time ago, but I mapped the whole thing out. And then I have, instead of having actual numbers telling me how much time is passing, I have variables. So I have an actual number plus X, and then the next thing is a number plus X plus Y, then a number plus X plus Y plus a number, because I don't know how much time exactly passes.
And I started noticing that with Dragon Ball Super in general, where there's so many, even during the Zamasu arc with the Goku Black stuff, where it's they travel to Trunks' timeline and then come back for a break and then go and then a break again. I've noticed that happens a lot. It feels very forced and whatnot. Whereas you look back on even the Majin Buu arc, I think the whole arc takes place in 5 days, right? 5 actual 2 days even. Yeah.
The bulk of it is 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a natural progression of this. And there's plenty of breaks in there, but there's a natural way to make that happen as opposed to let's just pump the brakes and stop this train.
So yes, but these breaks here come from travel, okay? And we have had that before. We had the Saiyan and Namek Frieza arcs are all of this. So we have a year break, and then we have a couple months break as they go to Namek, and then we have literally 5 days break because they're just waiting for the Ginyu Force to show up. So this stuff does happen.
Yeah,
they overuse it here. I will give you that. But it's not, it's always because someone is in transit and they need to let this go before their plot can progress.
I think it happens 2 times too quickly. It's this one and then it's Goku and Vegeta traveling to planet Serial takes 18 days. More of that. Yeah.
So I think once they make it to Serial though, Doug, I'm pretty sure that's it for that kind of stuff. Oh, great.
I was totally expecting another break somewhere where it's no, we need to reconvene. Let's learn the Mafuba again.
No. Yeah. The rest of this arc, I'm pretty sure, is just kind of natural progression of things happening.
Okay.
So we go to Zuno. How could I forget? We go to Zuno. Yeah. There's kisses, harassment.
Oh,
it's a whole thing. I really love Mackie tearing into Zuno about hey, creep, haven't you heard of us harassment?
Yeah, I'm glad she mentioned it. Just go on.
Yeah. I really find her endearing, and in fact, she's going to be the thumbnail for this episode because she really is a driving force here in this volume.
Mm-hmm.
And that just the whole previously when we said oh, here's Elec, it's his thing, Gas his thing. Mackie, I feel really comes into her own here as an individual character, and I don't know, she's pretty cool. I think
it starts making me think are these Heatas bad guys? Do they have to they have this menacing tone of we're gonna do this, but it's no, you're handling everything without violence. I mean, you're manipulating here and there, but it really, you could manipulate the same way, but in a non-evil way without an evil smirk on it, and it'd be the same. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Goku is now able to at least use some of Ultra Instinct in his base form. Vegeta can routinely use destruction against pretty big logs now and then accidentally blow up part of a waterfall.
I love there's no dialogue. It's like it's supposed to be like a montage of this kind of stuff. And Beerus is like, why did you do that?
I like that they're jumping. Yeah, we're getting these like weird jumps in time, but it's to serve characters traveling from point A to point B and let our characters train a little bit before we get there. And it's just, when people think of Dragon Ball, right, that's just par for the course with this series.
You got to get your workouts in.
Yeah. So Oil and Mackie make it to Earth pretty quick. I'm fairly certain that when Jocko and Bulma traveled to Zuno's, it didn't take them that long in Universe 6.
Okay. The longer trek was from wherever they were to Zuno, and so then it was shorter to get to Zuno to Earth.
Or I don't think it was any time really at all by that point, but... Oil and Mackie offer to pay Goku and Vegeta's wives money because money from Satan's running dry with Chi-Chi.
I love this whole, because this is like the kind of thing where a problem is solved with kind of like a joke. Like, we got to find out, Zuno, what Goku and Vegeta's weakness are, and then it's like the weakness are their wives. It's like, that's great. Yeah. I love it. They just come by.
But they need Goku and Vegeta to deal with this strongest in the universe guy who just suddenly popped up, and Chi-Chi indicates that Goku and Vegeta haven't been home in months. So again, another really vague passage of time.
Yeah.
And again, how quickly after Moro did they leave? We don't know. So it's super unclear. But I think 782 is probably a safe bet for when this takes place in the timeline. Oil and Mackie, oh my God, they snoop around Capsule Corp, which is not good.
Emperor Pilaf style.
Well, I mean, it's straight up just DBS Broly again with those two Frieza Force guys who go in and steal the Dragon Radar.
Yeah.
Tighten up your security, Bulma. You've got people in here stealing your stuff. I know you think you're above reproach, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, just offering money and everything.
So Goku and Vegeta get the message. They're going to travel with Whis to Earth, which, remember, takes the length of one anime episode to travel. And before they go, Beerus is like, Vegeta, take this. It's a little earring. Puts it on his ear. It's a symbol of people who can use destruction. And then Whis is like, well, in that case, and he draws a symbol on Goku's gi. And I love that they're taking the Goku-Vegeta rivalry and they're kind of turning it on its head. And that now it's not just about them. It's about Whis and Beerus' rivalry.
Yeah, they're mentors, Yeah,
I love that so much. But it's taken this just like regular trope that we've always had, and they're making a little bit more out of it, I think.
Yeah.
And then Chi-Chi, of course, to follow up on the gag of how do you get to Goku and Vegeta through their wives, Chi-Chi's like, the pay for this job better not be in that fancy space money of yours. And then Mackie...
no, we got Sky Gold.
Yeah, Sky Gold, Blue Aurum.
And then Chi-Chi's so cute in this. She's like, oh, I'm gonna go fatten up then. And like, just her face. She's just so adorable in this. So like a little singing tune on the way out.
She says, we'll pay you your weight in Sky Gold. And then she said, well, I better go fatten myself up.
I was really scared that, like, before the joke landed, that it's just like the weakness of their wives. I thought they were going to, like, kidnap Chi-Chi and Bulma. I'm like, oh, no. But then the joke is just like, no. They were going to just, like, have them deliver the message, and that's the weakness. I love that. I wish it was played up a little more. Like, maybe, like, Mackie could have came with, like, all right, what's the big guy's name? Oil?
Oil.
He's like, all right, Oil, we're going to go in there with money, and then we're going to go in there, we're going to offer them something else, like a fat chicken. But then they go and like, Chi-Chi's like, we have this money. He's like, that's all I need. Chi-Chi's like, yes, let me go get Goku. Like some kind of gag like that would be really funny. Like, oh, that's all she needed.
I do love that they really don't have any idea or really reason to believe that this is bad, that something could be going on here. They're just totally along for the ride.
Totally chill.
Yeah, because these threats that come to them are usually like telegraphed in one way or another. And
right. Or Piccolo or Gohan will show up and be like, there's a horribly strong key coming towards us. And like, you guys are in trouble. We got to hide you somewhere.
Yeah. They just come and they're like, hey, we need your help. And they're like, okay. Maybe they won't make that mistake again, but now they did.
Does Toyotaro draw Bulma weirdly, or is that just how she looks at this age?
In general, Toyotaro's not the greatest with women.
Chi-Chi looks fine, I think, but something about Bulma seems a little off.
It's because he's doing her Resurrection F hairstyle with her Battle of Gods outfit.
Yeah.
And we only know this because we just ranked all of her looks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, check out that video right here on the screen. So 18 days to get the cereal. And so Vegeta and Goku, they get on this big ship. And I love Vegeta just being like, we certainly have a luxurious ship for a tribe whose planet is being ravaged by some great destroyer. Like he's immediately picking up, like, hey, something's not right here. But then they kind of just brush it away. And he's like, okay, I guess. Good enough for me. We have a nice
ship for our saviors. We needed to spruce it up a little bit. But also why, again, the time thing again, why did we take them to Earth to then now travel 18 days some other, why couldn't, I don't know. I get it because the Maki and oil on Earth, but they could have moved the story along by having them, hey, meet us on planet Cereal, and then Beerus, we could have taken them 30 minutes instead of 18 days. You know what I mean?
Well, it comes down to what do Oil and Maki know, right? Do they know that Whis can do that? Do they necessarily know that Goku and Vegeta are training with gods? And do they ever actually say they're going to planet Cereal?
I get that. In story, I get that, and all makes sense. But as a reader, that's like very frustrating. Like, what? Why are we doing this story wise?
Because it gives them more training time. Remember, the guy who made the wish to be the strongest was the strongest at that time.
Oh,
so if it was just, it's like he's done one more push up than Goku, but now you've had like a whole nother month of them bench pressing. It's like, oh, well, now I'm stronger just a little bit.
Ken, I love this arc now. Like that alone is I'm not being sarcastic. I'm like a little sarcastic, but that is changing I'm going to be thinking that a lot as I'm reading. We're all like, okay.
So it's been 50 years overdue, but revenge will finally be mine. Dude, Granolah, he's a little baby.
What is it? It's like the Scott Pilgrim line where it's like, you'll pay for your crimes against humanity, you cocky cock. He says it.
So we're on to chapter 72 now, which is the last of these 4 chapters. So I don't know where the timeline looks right now, the timeline of this episode that we're in, but who knows how far we are in. We're going to go
3 of the conversation.
2 hours on this chapter alone. Elec and Gas are talking. They're on their way to planet Cereal, and Elec says, I haven't been back here for 40 years. Gas says, my memories of this planet are not particularly good ones. And Elec says, it's fine, Gas. You've changed a lot since then. It won't be like last time.
Whoa.
So, Doug, what happened to Gas 40 years ago?
He's actually Kid Buu because he looks just like him, so something happened with that.
Dang it, he's on to us.
Why have those cities not been demolished in 40 years? Why haven't there been like construction plans to just kind of, in 40 years, they didn't like kind of wipe that down? Whatever.
Because Granolah wanted to keep it. Remember, he says he wanted to live on the mountain so he could look down and feel bad every day about
Granolah's not in charge of the construction down there. The Heaters are and the Shigarians. Like, they want to see a destructed city next to them, like 10 feet away for 40 years?
Have you seen the Shigarians? They're these tiny little like axolotl people. They can't do anything
they
about
would
that.
pay. They have money. I'm just saying here on Earth, if a natural destruction like that happened, like if a building was demolished, like on fire, we would just keep it there for 40 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but what about the like Greco-Roman ruins and stuff? That stuff's still in its current shape.
Yeah, but that was thousands of years, not 40 years ago.
Yeah, still, well, to his point, you're saying that, yeah.
40 years on its way to 1,000. You got to start somewhere.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. They would have rebuilt. And there was at one point where the Colosseum was only destroyed 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And they left it. All right. All right.
This is stuff Toyotaro is definitely thinking about when writing this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The
Rome. Can't stop thinking about the Roman Empire, that Toyotaro.
So blasts start firing in. Green blasts. This is in the color we've seen before. Goku gets hit. Oops.
Yeah, gets hit hard.
But before this, Goku is back in his like base UI, and Vegeta goes Super Saiyan,
which is so cool to see. Like, what a scene we don't see often. It's always them in pairs of like whatever form they're going for. It's so cool to see Goku in quote unquote base, and then Vegeta in Super Saiyan. It's really cool.
The Goku gets hit, and Vegeta's like, oh my god, dude, I only have 2 of these beans. Man, I gotta waste one of them on you now. Like, get yourself together. And then he says, you rely on Ultra Instinct too much. If you haven't perfected it yet, then dodge using your mind.
Yeah, love it. Love that nugget of...
But that's a weird sentence. It's a weird way to phrase things. So,
what do you mean?
Luckily, I have the manga in Japanese. So I went and looked up that line.
Thank God.
And basically what he's saying, so I typed it all out and then I just threw it over in DeepL and then from that did some investigation into like the actual words being used. But basically what he's saying is like, if it's still incomplete, dodge it of your own volition. Or basically the word in play here is ishi, which can mean like intention, wish, purpose, or mind. But the way I think that it's supposed to mean is if you haven't perfected it yet, then dodge by paying attention.
Right, rather than relying on your body to react on its own. I
read it that way. No problem.
Yeah.
Dodge using your mind is such a weird way to write that.
Well, because we just had the conversation with Beerus and Weiss or whatever about like, this stop controlling it you need to control it with your body instead of your mind. It's like, okay, so he's just saying instead of Ultra Instinct, use your regularness, what you've been using for 40 years.
It's odd phrasing. And when you read it, you go, it's not like you full stop, but like it's kind of like when you're walking and then you, for one step you forgot to lift your toe high enough, so you kind of catch it, like, oh, okay, never mind, and then you're still going.
I love this line actually.
Yeah, it's just awkward to read, but then you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe my mind is awkward because I read it perfectly. That made sense to me from the first rip. No awkwardness at all.
So Granolah can teleport. Actually, he can do it even faster than Goku, which is
snap.
What's faster than instant?
Yeah,
and then Granolah is just like, I don't have a word for this technique. It's just a small fraction of the power that elevated me to the strongest in the universe. So he gained it by basically becoming stronger than the strongest. He got their stuff.
What a flex. Also, just to be like, what is this technique? Like, I don't know. I just do it. Who cares? You guys yell out your attacks or something?
I didn't read that the first reading through without you guys. It was like, I didn't get that he's just like stronger than everyone. I thought it's just like, no, you're like meaning that he has the power of everyone. Not everyone. But
he gets their skill sets.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. And we see him using Vegeta's destruction. We see him kind of basically doing Goku's Ultra Instinct. And then plus he's got his like eye thing. So he's this sum of all parts and more because he's got his own cerulean stuff to him. But so Granolah uses destruction and Vegeta's like, that was similar to destruction. But of course it was exactly just destruction.
Mm-hmm.
But Vegeta's so like taken aback. He's like, how could this guy possibly know this? So he's just like, couldn't be. It's just similar to it. And then Goku catches on to this. He's like, does it mean this guy can use our techniques? Like, oh my God, what's going on here?
Yeah, like he catches on to that more than I did.
Yeah. Goku's a thinker sometimes.
Well, is it just these two guys, Goku and Vegeta, that he has the moveset of, or is like everyone in the universe, or is that something we're going to be explained later?
I think
in future chapters.
I think it's that Granolah has what is needed to be the strongest. So he doesn't necessarily have Piccolos or generation or anything. Okay. He just has what it takes to be stronger than Goku or Vegeta.
So it is specific to go, like for lack of a better, it's specific to Goku and Vegeta.
I think so.
Like
I think
them.
I'm trying to like think ahead in the story. And again, I'm not the freshest on super material, but I think it's just essentially Goku and Vegeta.
Okay.
I love this. Vegeta, okay. Think about what we just watched with Daima, okay? Where Vegeta didn't want to let Goku fight first. And here, Vegeta's like, actually, Kakarot, you go, because he hit you.
He got the first hit on you.
This is your fight.
Yeah.
Oh, chef's kiss, Toyotaro.
It's a little bit of that ego coming in, like, not even just on himself, but just like, you got to have pride. He hit you, so go hit him back.
I love it.
I just pulled ego out of my ass. I don't know what that word just has any.
You don't know if that could ever come up again? Okay, all right. I got you. Yeah. Remember Vegeta being self-centered. We don't want that ego.
Oh, right.
Goku goes Super Saiyan God. And he goes Super Saiyan, but it's not important. We go Super Saiyan God. And then I love this exchange. He's like, dude, he's doing the whole thing. Like, here's what my technique is called. And Granola's like, God, really? For your savage people? And Goku's like, oh, yeah.
Because as I'm reading this, too, I'm trying to see it from the perspective of Granolah, too. And it's like, what a weird thing to call a form, Super Saiyan God. And like he says it, too. I'm like, yeah, that's such a weird... that just takes back to the dumb naming scheme that we have fans have gotten these forms that have been thrown up our asses. Super Saiyan God.
So then Goku starts using Ultra Instinct while in Super Saiyan God form.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And Vegeta says it becomes more accurate when used in conjunction with a Super Saiyan form. So again, this is part of the thing of like the transformations help you along the way with Ultra Instinct. So yeah, Goku's learning to use it in his base form, but yeah.
Yeah, wasn't we trying to get him to master it in his base form? Why is it more accurate when he's transformed? Oh, because it's like kind of a handicap, like I want you to master it in base form because of course you can do it when you're transformed.
Yeah.
But don't rely on that.
Yeah, try to get past the stamina draw. You could tell this Toyotaro guy, he's read Dragon Ball. I don't know if you guys picked up on this. Granolah precision strikes Goku because of his eyes. And Goku starts getting really confused by the way Granola's talking. Because Granola's like, I'll beat you, and then I'll get the information on Frieza's location from that other guy. And Goku's like, what? Like, hold on. Like, we're not communicating properly here. Like, we thought you were the bad guy, but you want to defeat Frieza. And then Granola's like, dude, shut up. Like,
yeah, he's like, don't even talk to me, Saiyan.
Yeah.
What master do you serve? I'm supposed to say Jesus? It's like, just get this out of the way. This is what I don't like about the character. It's just the grudge of like a misunderstanding that the audience knows. If the audience was not privy to this information, this could have been a fun like, whoa, Frieza, you mentioned Frieza, but no, we know the misunderstanding. It's like a rom-com when both the you know what I mean? It's a rom-com.
But when you have a misunderstanding like that the audience is privy to, that gives you the power of irony. So like, yes, this battle that's happening right here is nonsense and doesn't need to be happening, and it's all been orchestrated by Elec and his crew. And that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, in the end, if it gets, it could all be fixed.
And I think Granolah is so up his own butt about the Saiyans and Frieza that him not giving Goku a chance to explain himself is perfect. It fits for me, right? So like, as we talk again about, what's that guy's name? Glorio versus Granolah. And this is why Granolah is so interesting, because he's flawed. He's just so angry. He's stupid sometimes, but you can buy it because it's the natural way that people act when they get super passionate about something.
When you compare it to Glorio, this guy is great. Granolah is. Yeah, I get it now.
He's always had this grudge bubbling in the back of his head, and now it's like suddenly you're given, hey, these things that you wanted to revenge on, 1, are alive, so you can take them out. 2, now you're strong enough to do it. And 3, you've only got 3 years to do it before you're dead. So you don't have time for this talk and stuff.
Like you guys were saying, it makes sense for Goku and Vegeta to not kind of like make it a priority to be like to clear out the misunderstanding, because they're not there to like stop the fight. They're like, no, I want to fight someone strong. I want to like see what my training has come to. Like if this guy was like a rampaging beast that was destroying cities, maybe they'd be like, whoa, no, say we're chill. But no, since it's just someone right now, a combatant, no, let's feel it out.
Yeah. And again, because Oil's like, why are they not fighting together? Right? Because the idea was that these Saiyans were going to fight together and kill Granolah, but that's not how they're playing this. Because it's not necessarily that kind of threat yet. So they can just go one-on-one. And
I wonder if that'll come, because kind of Whis kind of hints at that, like your confidence will be your doom. I wonder if this is like, again, didn't this happen before where Goku and Vegeta were going to team up, maybe during the Kid Buu stuff? It's like, nah, you got to fight together kind of thing. Bites him in the butt.
Doug, I think you're going to love this arc when all's said and done.
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
I do think so. And so Granolah powers up. He's got the cool green aura. And then Goku says, I've trained a lot recently. So if you think about, since Granolah made the wish, Goku's trained over a month at this point. So, you may have been the strongest guy when we were called to come out here.
30 days ago. But
I've been training. So... and then, of course, Goku's like, this is Super Saiyan Blue. And Granola's like, I don't give a damn. And so then this is Vegeta overlooking a giant Ozaru footstep in the ground, kind of putting it together. It all makes sense now. And that's where the volume ends.
That's what I hope it doesn't. I can't wait to see what Vegeta's revelation is. These guys were killed by Saiyans. Yeah, no shit. That's what's going to be. I bet you. I'm not going to put money on it.
If it's even just a little bit more than that, will you be happy?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
These guys had a right eye that...
Granola's got his right eye and Ken's got his eyebrows.
His eyebrows.
Doug, so if you started out here, put your hand up in the air.
Sure, my hands are right here.
That's where you started on this volume. Where are you now with your other hand?
I'm about like up to my glasses.
Okay, all right. So that's pretty good. That's like a...
From the mustache to the top of the glasses.
Okay, so
percentage-wise, I just told you. Mustache
You're up on
to
it.
glasses.
Mustache to glasses. Okay, and let me do the math on this. Let me get my what is that called? The thing that the people had to use in the 30s.
With the beans.
Yeah, I love this volume.
It's building up a lot, and I really enjoy that whole thing with Maki and Oil just going out and doing all this, because it's like, all right, we got to see, like, they can't, like, things just can't happen. They got to, like, get in there and do the legwork themselves, which I enjoy.
Yeah. I do like how it's all been manipulated by them, too. That's cool. The Heaters.
Randy, I spent this past hour trying to move heaven and earth to get Doug more positive. Where have I landed with you?
You've also increased my enjoyment. I would say by a good 15 to 25%.
Okay. Now, where does that rank on your face? Oh, okay.
Right,
so we got the math now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if Doug's was at mustache, so then I was starting at like mid nose. We'll say bottom of glasses. And now I'm probably mid forehead.
Okay.
So all I ask of you two and the listener is that as you go into volume 17, again, now's you can lower your guard. And this is not Yuko Kakihara, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Just, I know we're all a little bit damaged from what happened to us, but you can just rest easy knowing that Toyotaro has got you for at least the next volume.
Okay.
Things get a little hairy at the volume after that, and we'll get to
it. I think I have the cover somewhere else, but no, I'll show you guys next podcast.
I'll let Toyotaro embrace me. I'll go into his arms and I'll accept it. I won't be on guard.
Yeah, Toyotaro nailed it with Moro. So, it's like, this is the same guy, so he's got to have something up his sleeve.
The puzzle pieces are there, whether you can see them or not.
Yeah.
That's true.
And you can see them not retrospect, you know what I mean? In hindsight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And with foresight, we know that we, of course, have volume 17 that we get to go into, which is not actually going to be next episode, right? If I'm doing the math right, because episode 109 is obviously episode 109 extravaganza, which...
Whoa, the special.
We've always been counting up to episode 109. That's the important one.
Yeah, we didn't
and it wasn't
have...
that because... 100 was in the middle of Daima. Like, we couldn't just stop and all that. And then it's going to be a real special one.
Yeah.
I think we still have to figure out logistics for how recording is going to happen. But
dear listener, episode 109 will be unlike any other episode of this podcast. It is going to be one that you can listen to, but you are definitely going to want to watch this one. And we may actually arrange it so that the video version will be on Spotify as well. We'll have to figure that out.
They do video?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So we
just a thing I've not done.
Well,
it was like
behind the scenes, Randy, the way that you do it, I think makes sense for Spotify. But for this next one, I don't think we'll gain anything necessarily by like cutting out silences or whatever like that. So I think that one will just be good to throw up the video version. You're going to want to watch this next one.
You're going to want, You're
going to like this. I guarantee it. So that's episode 109.
You should be watching.
And then episode 110 of this year podcast, we will do volume 17, which is chapters 73 through 76. If you just wanted to hop on the Shonen Jump app and read it chapter by chapter. So look out for that. And that'll be coming up here in your feeds soon. So that's exciting. But right now we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and hear what you guys had to say about this whole volume. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back in just a sec. Hey there, and welcome back to more We Got a Podcast, but instead of us talking about stuff, we're going to hear what you guys had to say about this volume of the Dragon Ball Super manga. So, as always, Ken, man in the blue sky, putting out the call for things. So, if you want to chime in, you got to follow us on that blue sky over there at wegottapodcast.com over on Blue Sky. So, first up, Ken, why don't you tell us what Proto Packet had to say?
I'd love to, Randy. Love how Toyo uses the Dragon Balls. It's interesting to compare with Moro. In that story, it was a twist, a bizarre wish that underutilized the dragon's power to great story effect IMO. Whereas this is the simplest strong wish anyone could come up with as the opening premise to the arc. Hype.
Yeah,
so
I know that...
no, go ahead.
Some people are like, it's just the easy wish to do. Like, yeah, but it hasn't been done before.
Hasn't been done before, yeah.
And again, it's not about how he got that second ball. It's that he got it at all and made the wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. You just got to move the story along. I'd prefer to have this rather than a volume and a half of like, oh my God, I search for all these and figured like whatever. I don't care. Jacob Sawyer says, these are pretty solid chapters to me. I love the world building and training. I really like the continuation of developing Vegeta's character. The action is well done too. Yeah, I just love how Vegeta is handled as a continued thing from where we left off in Moro, where he's kind of like, I feel real bad about the stuff that happened on Namek, you guys. That's real bad. I shouldn't have done that, because like we had his whole redemption thing in the Boo arc of just like, oh yeah, maybe being a supervillain wasn't super great, but then I sacrificed myself, and I guess I'm a good guy. I don't really like that, but now he's like, oh, I'm owning it. Yeah, okay. I did bad stuff.
Yeah. GGF writes in, again, who is reading this for the first time with us. This arc continues to be pretty good. I continue to enjoy the split narrative, and it's brought together well by the Heaters, whose scheming nature and manipulation from the background makes them really refreshing as Dragon Ball villains go. The contrast between Vegeta and Goku's new training is neat, and as a big Beerus fan, it's satisfying to see him get out of the, quote, we don't really know what we want to do with him, so I guess we just kind of make him comic relief hole he's been stuck in since Battle of Gods, leading to some interesting Vegeta characterization, although him feeling guilty for all the sins of all Saiyans feels a little out of character for the guy who said he didn't care about the Saiyans on Namek. His feeling on the Saiyans, the people, have always been oddly different from the concept of being a Saiyan, but I suppose he's had a lot of character development since then.
Yeah, because he killed Nappa, like, you're not anything to me, you're weak, so you're disposable.
Yeah, and that was the thing sticking in my head, and I was trying to remember if we've had anything else since then, specifically, like when Dodoria was like, by the way, it wasn't a meteor. Frieza did it, and he killed everyone. Vegeta's like, okay, whatever, man. Like, I don't care.
Thanks for the info, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like, doesn't motivate me any further. It just is what it is. So, yeah, sure. And then we've got this one here from Freezer, who says, this is my general thoughts on the arc first. First time I read this arc, I considered it the absolute worst of all of manga Dragon Ball. I hated most of it. Second time I read it, I came around to it and really liked it, though I'd still put it towards the middle of that list. Then my partner read it, and they loved it, even more than Moro. For this volume, I always enjoyed the setup of the arc, but the fighting is where I first got bored in my initial reading. It didn't impress me on my first reading, and this continues for the whole arc's fight. But rereading it, these fights are fun. Some of my favorites in post-Reddit's material.
Dude, even just the fight between Granolah and Oil, like I want to pose my figure arts now in certain poses that Granolah was in, like dodging and kicking and everything. That's like, dang, this looks cool.
Yeah, because he's using Ultra Instinct in that fight. It's so cool because the fighting in here, you are learning stuff about the characters, or you are following up on stuff from before. It's never just, or at least so far, and again, because I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I just don't remember. So far, it's not just fighting for fighting's sake. There's something important happening. There are character beats happening in these fights, and that's always the best way to do it.
Absolutely. It's like a musical without moving the plot along. Like, we don't want that. We want to, if a song's going to come on during a musical, let's progress the story with it.
But I do understand what you're saying about not liking it the first time. Again, this arc was kind of a disaster considering its monthly release. It did not do this arc any favors, especially when it took us like half a year to even get to the Saiyans meeting Granolah.
Wow.
Yeah. It did take a bit. So that's the end of all them skeets, but I wanted to bring up that we have an email here from Willis DeYoung. As always, fantastic fan. Love to have him here. Says, first off, really, Ken? Really? Are we comparing Glorio to Granolah?
I don't think it's outrageous.
Okay. Chapter 69. Still continuing strong from the previous chapter, in my opinion. I love the backdrop of Cereal and especially enjoyed the beatdown Beerus gave Vegeta. Chapter 70 is where things started to slow down for me. I feel the fight with Oil was unnecessary and was just a way to fill some pages. Chapter 71 wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great either. I feel the time they wasted on the Oil fight in the previous chapter could have been used to give Goku and Vegeta more time with the Heatas before arriving at Cereal. Chapter 72, obviously very action-heavy, but I feel the pacing of the story with the action got back on track, at least for me. I had two favorite panels I'd like to share. One from Chapter 69, page 38, where Granolah and Monito are sitting at the table, both looking at the Dragon Ball on the shelf. That is a good one. That's just me saying it, not him.
Yeah.
2 is from chapter 72, page 158, where Goku takes the shot to the back and Vegeta is looking at him. The simplicity of that panel is something to admire, I feel. Also looking at it in black and white, not sure how it translates in color. Last of all, Ken, here are my reasons why we shouldn't compare Glorio to Granolah. 1, Granolah is front and center of this arc, where poor Glorio is a support character or possible plot foil for the characters. 2, the arc is called Granolah. Glorio didn't get an arc named after him. Last but not least, Glorio is a better character over Granolah because he has a prototype figure pending release. Where is that Granolah figure, Ken? With an asterisk.
Right. You bring up a good point. However, Doug and I have both pre-ordered a bootleg Moro figure arts, which means that it's only a matter of time for that bootleg Granolah, which Doug and I will also get.
That's all I have to say.
If they ever get around to official Granolah ones, I would love that because I do like this dude's design. And give me one with the long hair. Sorry.
I think it has to be in anime form before they can make a figure arts out of it.
I mean, of course.
An excuse.
Whatever their excuse is.
But yes, long hair accessory.
We're not there yet, but Granolah does get a look later where he loses his his tunic, and that kicks so much ass.
Ooh. Just like with Gohan, less clothes is better. Well, with the
it's just also a simpler design, so he doesn't have all those like buttons all the way down.
Yeah,
but it gives me Vash the Stampede vibes with the whole row of buttons going. That's fine. That's fine. All love Willis. My apologies for this one going long. Don't apologize. I like it. You know, it's good stuff to have.
Here.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for sharing all that. Really appreciate it. And especially to everybody who's reading along with us, some for the first time and some for just to, make sure they know what we're talking about, what to expect, and they can inform their own opinions and share them. That's always really great. And then I also just wanted to...
I'd like to think that looking at the numbers on these episodes, surely people, and not everyone watching this is reading along with us, but I like to think that with this episode specifically, how deep we went in on it, and how like crazy I got in trying to convince you guys that this was a better volume than you thought. I think that people might go this and go, what the hell? Let me reread Granolah.
Let me take another look at it.
That's where we're at. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Let us know if you do decide to reread because of us.
Right. Jump back in because you're listening to this and it's like, oh, wait, hold on. Let me go check this out. I got to see what's going on here. So yeah, thank you guys for doing that. And thanks to Zenpai for sending in this really great trivia. That
I was like, why are you thinking Zenpai?
I'm going to call him out real quick before he said this morning, he has not even read this arc.
Whoa. So I might have a chance to get trivia answering?
Well, I don't know.
Judging by this first question, Doug, not a chance.
Shimaki.
Question 1. In Chapter 6 of the Dragon Ball Super manga, which comic book is Tights shown reading? Though not at the moment.
Dr. Slump?
Interesting.
Kajika?
Ooh, it was Galactic Policeman Jocko.
Oh.
Whoa.
Where she's from?
Look, they just make comics about him. I don't know. Question 2. In the interstitial page between chapters 18 and 19 of the Super manga, who did Zamasu originally trade bodies with?
My brain hurts every time his trivia questions start with in the manga chapter. I'm like, I didn't read the... We know this.
I don't think that what happens in this interstitial page is canon. I think it's just a joke, but it's Monaka.
Yes, the Kaioshin in training is appalled at how weak his new body is. But he's got great nipples, so...
Yeah, true.
Good trade-off. Question 3. Which rule is...
So between Granolah might have the best nipples now?
I wish to have the greatest nipples in the universe.
Let's take off that tunic and see what's there.
Oh, no.
Question 3. Which rule is present in the animated version of the Tournament of Power, but not the manga version? So a rule of the tournament.
No using Ultra Instinct.
They just say it right up front.
If you check it out.
This is a wild guess, but is it the no flight thing?
No, it's the one forbidding the use of restorative items. In the manga, the Great Priest never actually makes that clarification. So, You got some beans? Smoke if you got them.
Bean it up.
Bean me, daddy.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's all I have here, guys. Unless you have anything else before we close it all out.
No trivia from me.
No closing thoughts?
Alrighty, well then we can say definitively thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We love interacting with you and keeping you in the conversation about our favorite franchise in the world. And as always, you can post at us on our socials. You can check us out at wegotapodcast.com, at Blue Sky. And of course, you can always email us over at wegotapod@gmail.com.
And thank you to Rifti Beach for letting us use a track, Kakarot theme hip hop track remix. You can find that song and other great music by Rifti on his SoundCloud. Ken, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at detectivex.bsky.social, where I don't really post that much anymore because I found it's actually better for my mental health to not post every stray thought I have about things.
Yeah.
Randy?
You can follow me over at the same place at Saberbreaker at wegotapodcast.com over on that there Blue Sky. I don't post a lot, but when I do,
It's a banger.
Good.
Yeah.
It's solidly fine.
Yeah.
Doug,
And
what
you
about
can find me at Jabaz Doug. I don't post at all on Blue Sky, but hey, I'm there. I'm there, baby, and I'm listening. If you want to hit me up, I'll listen.
Unless you want Doug's figures for free.
Yeah,
Then you won't
that's reserved for TikTok comments. I read them all.
So you have now made it to the end of this episode, which means that you are the hardest of the hardcore, right? You're not tapping out after 3 minutes. You're staying the whole way. Next episode is a very special one. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but if you have any fond memories or thoughts about these 108 episodes so far, write in. There is I'll reskeet it on the Blue Sky. You can find it. There's a post in the thread for the 109th episode celebration. We want to know your thoughts. You can also email us at wegotapodcast. What is it? The email?
It's wegotapod@gmail.com.
There you go. Yeah. You can email us there. Just memories, thoughts about the show, general favorite moments, things like that. How much better the show got when I joined, just however you want to put it.
Total agreement.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big one, guys, because this is going to be a one-time. Like after this, we're not doing the same thing ever. Well, maybe not. I don't want to say ever. Very rarely.
We'll see you at episode 218.
Exactly.
When we do it again. Yeah. As always, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing if you haven't. Or if you haven't, come on. Also review us. I do love looking at reviews. They make me feel good. I do like seeing on Reddit where people are like, hey, I'm listening to We Got a Podcast.
That's wild.
That was kind of like a vague Vince Gilligan impression, but we'll just keep going.
That's how all Redditors sound, right?
Make sure to tell your friends about this show. We love hearing from you guys, and we would honestly love it if the whole final 2/3 of the show was us just listening to you or reading your thoughts and everything.
Yeah,
that would be great.
that'd be cool.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll eat those words someday, but until then, we'll catch you matinator.
See you.
Bye.